Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Dina Redinger, and I am on the Confident Leader Show today, Thinking Differently. This is the third part of a four-part series talking about being a meta leader. Some of you have registered for our online four-part series, so I decided to go ahead and do this on LinkedIn Live. We're having Zoom issues, so I'm sure that's probably nothing that anybody's ever experienced before. So um, today is not my first time with having Zoom issues. So, welcome. We want to review a little bit about what we learned over the last two sessions that we had on our Meta Leader series. One of the things we know for sure is that being a meta leader means if you want different results, you're going to have to think differently. Well, how do you do that? With the challenges that we have today, we know that employers and employees are all struggling just because of where we are. What we do know is that the BBC reported that one of the biggest things that we see right now is there's 76 million people around the globe who are reporting either anxiety or depression around their current situation, whether that's life or work. Let's just face this is the world that we live in. A lot of people are handling a lot of things today that they weren't necessarily handling 3 years ago, but now employees are trying to figure out how do they fit in and how do they create this connectivity and this belonging. Sharon and I have been coaching companies all over the world. What we find is that this being connected, feeling belonging, feeling like you're a part of an organization that has some aligned visions and missions that you can be a part of as an employee is the real driver of whether people stay or whether they go. So, you as a meta leader have to be able to create strong connectivity and a sense of belongingness for everyone. And let's face it, they're all watching you. It's all eyes on you. Whether you are an employee, whether you're a CEO, a president, maybe you're in middle management, maybe you're part of environmental services, regardless, your seat matters. What you do within your organization, you all must figure out how to become meta leaders because, frankly, all eyes are on everybody and they're trying to make a decision of whether they stay or whether they go. So a lot's going to be focusing on yourself. How do you become a better meta leader? Well, there's a couple things that we want to review over that we've covered in the past few part series. First and foremost is self-care. Many times we lack self-compassion. I do believe that the very large incidence that we have with depression or anxiety comes with the ability or the inability, I should say, to create self compassion for yourself. We're all going through some tough stuff. And unless you can create some of that self compassion on your own, that's really tough. So I give to everybody, this came from Tara Brock. So, Tara, if you're out there, thank you for this. She is a psychologist who has an acronym. It's called RAIN. So it's recognizing where you are in your daily work. If something is creating anxiety for you, kind of stop and say, what's happening for me? Why am I feeling this way? What is something that I can do? And just allow yourself to just feel that for a moment. I think a lot of people don't have a chance to just feel the way they are. First and foremost, being a meta leader, you have to become human. So allowing yourself to have those feelings, have those emotions are okay, allowing yourself to do that, recognizing that. What is the need that you have? Many people within organizations do not have clarity about what they need. They're a lot of times very fearful for speaking up and the repercussions of actually stating what they need. That's why I think a large people, over 4 million people, have decided, you know what, I'm done. They don't want to work anymore. They're tired of having to feel like they have to, explain it, but they also have fear that there could be something on the other side, a repercussion. Creating safe spaces is very important, regardless if you're a leader, if you are in a peer group or managing up or managing down, regardless of what that is. Feeling safe is empowering and it's imperative for everyone to feel safe enough to speak up for the things that you don't like, safe enough for the speak up for the ideas that you have that are great, that could be missed, allowing people to step in for that. So Sharon also talked about managing your triggers, and we all have a lot of those. And many times, many people are not aware of what is the trigger that I'm feeling right now. So that, what is causing my response to what somebody else has done, what I figure, like if it's to me or with someone else, just pausing a moment and just saying, okay, why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? What's a deeper question I need to start asking myself? That's where we're going to step in today around being some of this meta leader. It's important that you understand we're all going to have conflict sometime in our life. We all know that. We have it many times during the day. I ask a lot of people what the data is around, negative thinking and negative thoughts. Probably 80% of our day is built on these 70,000 decisions that we have to make. Many times there are these negative thoughts and they are just all the time. So being self-aware around what you're thinking, it is a mindset, but it's much, much deeper than that. A lot of our decisions are made with the conscious decision. Conscious decision making is probably only used about 5% of the time. This subconscious things that happen to us, those are deep within us. Those are ingrained in who we are. Things that we've experienced in our past, things that you're experiencing today, things that they're almost like cement of our soul. And a lot of times those are directing decisions that really are not answering the right problem. So I created diagnostic thinking, and Sharon and I are moving forward with diagnostic thinking groups to help people to bridge that gap. If you are within an organization and you find yourself with a retention issue, I'll guarantee you it's because people do not feel this connectivity or the sense of belonging. People have to feel like they belong. The only way you can do that is by creating safe spaces in small groups where people can actually share what's happening to them. Why do they feel the way they do? Many times our actions are taking it from things that are not a truth, not something that is true, but we've created our own truth that's a little bit of the untruth to make us feel like we're, making a good decision. Many times we find through the process that by framing and reframing and coming up with the right problem is that we find that many times we're not even solving the right problem. So it goes to stand to reason. If you are in a large organization and you're creating strategy, first and foremost, you all know you have to make sure that you're solving the right problem. On the other side of that, if you are not solving that right problem, it comes with a cost of non-collaboration. We actually did some work with another company, Sharon and I were, and we found that after we got finance involved and all of the assumptions based on, what is the actual cost of non-collaboration, it was in the millions. If you have a situation in a company where you're not making any decision, that comes with a cost. So by using game theory, you can actually decide as a group and as senior leaders or where you want to go. But most importantly, being a meta leader is about being human. If you're not human to other people, it's really hard to inspire other people to jump on the boat and to come along with you on this journey. I'm a big believer that you have to find out from other people what makes them who they are. Why do they think the way that they do? It's not to say that they're wrong, it's just that they're honored for their experiences and their beliefs. But is that the right decision to make at that time? If you can spend some time there to help people to see what they can't see, to open up the door where they can look all around, and that you have the capability of taking in great ideas and listening to other people, there is magic in that. All companies are looking at the bottom line. We get that. It's all about revenue. It's about generating business. We know that. I'm a firm believer. If you don't get this piece right, solving the right problem at the right time through these inclusive processes that make people feel like they are important to you, important to the success of the company, and that they matter a lot, they will leave. And I believe that's what's happening. Now, today is even more different. We've got this huge post pandemic. We've got people that are looking through these lenses, the lens of I'm virtual, I can manage my family, I don't want to come back. There's safety fears still because COVID's still kind of high, it's rising again. We have, the brick and mortar where people want people back in seats. And I think people want that connection and that connectivity, but we're kind of all over the place. So being a meta leader is going to take a whole lot of thinking differently. So I want to fast forward to give you a couple key tips as we leave today's part 3 of the 4-part series. And we'll be next week with Sharon on as we close our 4-part series. Thinking differently creates a different process. We have honed diagnostic thinking to help HR managers all over the world to bridge the gap between things that are not working with diversity inclusion, because all of our diverse employees around the globe, no one wants to sit on an island of Asian, Black, white. However, we have to find ways to cross the chasm to make sure that we are finding this connectivity to everyone. We have to have somebody that can facilitate this process, because many times all of us are living in an untruth, things that have created deep within ourselves that we just don't know, that is triggering decisions that are sometimes not the best decision. So being a meta leader is first and foremost is being human. Number 2, know that you don't have all the answers. Number 3, expect conflict. It's going to happen. Expect it. Number 4, use a process to where everybody feels like they are valued. Sharon and I have a retreat that's coming up in the middle of the United States, and it's going to be in September. So for HR managers, and it's specifically for women right now, we're going to open another retreat, hopefully next year, that's going to include women and men, but this one's specifically for women here in September. So if you are a woman leader and you are really focusing on moving your career and how to become this meta leader because you want to take more control of the things that you want in your life and your work, this is something that you'll want to attend. So it is the retreat, Thinking Differently. You're going to learn the art of how to think differently. And if you'd like more information, certainly message me. I'd love to get in touch with you. My email address is Dina, Dina, at acecoachingco.com. And I look forward to seeing you on our next final 4-part series next Tuesday at 11 p.m. And this is signing off. This is Dina Redinger with Confident Leader Show, thinking differently and creating meta leaders.